Hey people on YouTube land, Zach Hall back here, and today we're going to do another Bible review. We're going to be looking at the Ruckman Reference Bible, and this is in a special binding from Norris Bookbinding that they actually offer on their website. So if you go to Bible Baptist Bookstore, their website online, they actually have this edition that Norris Bookbind has special bound for them, and what I believe is a goat skin. They call it a soft leather, but it's a very thick, beautiful piece of leather. I actually got this Bible for my dad for his birthday, so my mom, my brother, and I teamed up, and then we're going to present this to him as a birthday present. So I want to do a review of it before I give it to him on his birthday. But again, it's got a beautiful box that comes in, a blue box. It's got Brother Ruckman's coat of arms, if you will, on the front there. And this is actually in German. So if you know Brother Ruckman, he was German. He loved the German language, and he could actually speak it. And so this on the front of the box here, it's actually in German. But then getting it out of the box, we'll see this beautiful Bible. So here you can see they're calling this just a genuine leather, but honestly, this is a beautiful, beautiful leather. I don't know exactly what it is because they don't exactly say what the exact leather is, but it could be a goat skin or a very nice calf skin. So it's very soft, very flexible, very soft to the touch. It just feels good in the hand. Beautifully, beautifully bound Bible. And look how thick that leather piece is. So to kind of show you, I'll bring in my Ruckman wide margin and give you an idea of the thickness between those two leathers. You can see in this lambskin that I have here on the left on the wide margin is a really thick lambskin, and yet this leather on this normal size Ruckman Reference Bible is about at least 2 or 3 times thicker than the wide margin. So it's a very substantial piece of leather. Something's going to hold up well for you for years. They do have etching in here on the spines, so that kind of makes the ribs. And then they did stamp a little bit the Holy Bible, KJV, and Ruckman Reference. And they put Holy Bible on the front. Now, this does look a little bit different since this was bound by Norris. You can see the standard printing for the Bible Baptist Bookstore there on the wide margin compared to the Norris bookbinding one. So they're slightly different fonts on the side, but still getting the same Bible. Now, opening this up, because this is bound by Norris, they actually put a lot of cool things in here. So if you get the Norris bound one, you get a where to look in the Bible, and this is a bookmark that is given to you by Norris Bookbinding. Some cool things on there. And then you have, I think this is a Quaker dozen or a Quacker dozen, Quaker dozen. So that these 12 rules for a way of life written long ago in a family Bible still fit for today's problems. So if you want to pause and take a look at those, you can. So Norris Bookbinding, not only do they do bookbinding, but they're actually Christian, and they've been doing this for a long time. So here they have a thing about the Bible and about the fact that it's not just a book, but you can learn about the way of salvation through Christ. So good company to support. If you are looking for a good Bible rebinder, Norris is one of the best out there, and they've been doing it the longest, I believe, of the ones that are still going. So definitely worth checking out. Now on the inside, you have a very thick vinyl paste-off liner that is really reinforced. You can see this line going up here. That is the tape. So that's a very thick piece of tape. And then it is reinforced up into the spine here. So we'll open this. You can see those pages are glued together to help strengthen the binding. And again, just see how thick that leather is. The corner work is done really well. Everything's glued and pasted off very nicely. Take a look at the back as well. And then you've got a nice red and yellow head and tail bands. It comes with 2 nice ribbon markers. And you do get a semi-yap on this cover. It's about a 1/4 inch on that. Now, this Bible retails for about $179 off their website. And the reason that is because putting a new leather cover on a Bible just costs a lot of money. So you have to factor that into the cost. So it looks like they didn't use the most premium text block. And not that it's a bad one, but you can see there's no gold gilding. So they didn't use the most premium text block that they have. So they don't have any gilding, which does give this actually a very understated classic look that I love. There's no frills about it. It's just a beautiful piece of leather bound on there to a good, decent text block. Doesn't have any gilding, so it gives it this nice black and white, just classic feel to the book. Now opening it up, and I just got this today, but look at the craftsmanship of this Bible. I just got this today. I haven't even done a break-in in it. I'm not going to because it's not my Bible. So I'll let my dad do that. But look at this. It opens right up in Genesis chapter 1. It lays completely flat. Doesn't fight. Doesn't want to snap shut. So that shows you the quality of Norris bookbinding and how they bind their Bibles. Very well done. So now if you're not familiar with the Ruckman Reference Bible, I have done a review of this on my channel, the Wide Margin Edition. We'll go ahead and take a look at this one as well, as this is probably my favorite edition of all the ones they sell, the normal edition. It's just got a beautiful font, well laid out. Here's a presentation page, which we'll fill out to my dad. And then actually I have all of my brothers and sisters and then their husbands and spouses' favorite verses that we're going to put on this page as well. Okay, here is the copyright. Reprint in 2020. So this is the newest edition. And this printed in the United States. And then here's the title page. So you get the actual crest now in English instead of German. And then there is the address of the Bible Baptist Bookstore. Then you're going to get a Books of the Bible content page, and where they start and how many chapters in each book. The epistle dedicatory right after that. And then you have a short introduction to the first edition and then subsequent editions. I believe they were released on the 3rd or 4th edition of the Ruckman Reference Bible now. Then here you're going to get an introduction to the Bible and the Old Testament. So if you want to pause and read that, I'll pull it up close so you can. And then you're going to see the general layout of the Ruckman. So it's a beautiful, beautiful layout. You have the book introductions at the beginning of the book up here. There's a line to divide the text from the notes. So you know what's man's opinion and what is text. And of course, Dr. Ruckman was even big on that as well. And was a great Bible teacher and a great evangelist. And so another thing I love about this Bible is the font. The font are the ones that are actually, this font, is the font they use in his commentary books. So the books he wrote on the Bible, it's the same font. And it's a beautiful font. It's one of my favorite fonts that there is in a Bible. You can see how the notes are placed though. There's reference keys in the text, but when you go down here, the notes are actually referenced by chapter and verse number. So if you want to find it really quick, just look down at the bottom to see what notes are actually on that page, and you can find. So you see here's a note on Genesis 1:2, 1:5, and then of course 1:1 at the top. Then you have your center column reference page with Usher's dates on there as well. And then you're going to have paragraph headings there. And you can see the margin space in this Bible too is adequate. So you have a nice margin space in the inner gutter to where the words do not run too close there where you can't read them or it's hard to read it. And then you have enough margin space on the outside here to take some notes if you like to write small symbols, cross references, or just a quick word note or something like that. You definitely could put those in here. The book name is at the center of the book, as opposed to the outside, like you would normally see in a lot of study Bibles. And then you have the chapter and verse it begins on this side of the page. And then on this page it would be right here. And then on the outside of the page you have the chapter and verse it ends on. And then at the very bottom of the page, of course, you have your page numbers. You do have the Pilcrow markers to divide paragraphs, but you also have section headings from Ruckman himself that he wrote in there. So you can see them kind of spaced throughout the text. And so you can see on any given page, the notes, there's a good amount in here. In the Old Testament, some books will be more sparse than others, but I'm just giving you a quick flip through so you can kind of get a general idea. And then the references, you can see sometimes are very small. Not a lot of references is what I mean, not a ton of them. The font of the references are actually pretty readable. So, and it is about a 10-point font, and it is very, very readable. Dark font, very beautiful. The paper is very good. The opacity of the paper is really good. So if you wanted to use a gel highlighter, use Pigment Micron pens to take notes, or a ballpoint pen, I think you definitely could. So then once you get the New Testament, you get a postscript to the Old Testament, introduction to the New Testament, and then you get right into the book of Matthew. This is not a red letter edition. It is black letter. Another feature is every book does begin on a new page. So that means in some of the books you get more space at the end of a book to take notes on. So we'll flip to the end of Corinthians here and see. Okay, so that ends almost perfectly, but you can see every book starts there on a new page. So there's 2 Corinthians where you have a lot more space if you want to take notes there. And then on the next page, Galatians starts. But you can see it's still laying perfectly flat. I mean, out of the box. This is just unbelievable. Really, really well made. Then what the Ruckman Reference Bible probably is almost mostly famously known for is the appendices in the back. So he'll have an epilogue here to the Bible right after Revelation. And then he has over 100 appendices, 118. And so I'll just flip through these pretty quickly. Some of them are drawings, some of them are charts, some of them are lists. There's some interesting stuff in here. Some of them don't deal with the Bible, some of them deal with history, some of them deal with some different stuff. Some of them are just pretty weird. But it is interesting. It's a pretty thick appendice here with a lot of information. So then something new that they started, at least that I'm aware of, is that they put these lined note pages in the back of the regular edition now. My dad's first one, which this Bible's replacing, does not have the note paper. And he actually had the first edition when it was first printed. So it didn't even come in a genuine leather cover or a good lambskin or calfskin cover. It actually came in a pigskin cover that has a vinyl paste-off cover. And actually, I might do a follow-up video to this one showing you his old one. But yeah, you got a good amount of pages here in the back, notebook paper. There's probably 10 or so pages here, maybe 15 at the most. So a lot of pages there to take notes on. And then Dr. Ruckman had a ton of notes in his Bible, or maps that he drew for his Bible. And these actually go into modern times too, with Israel. And then at the back you have a couple cardstock pages there. And then the just beautiful binding. So again, I think for the specialty edition, $179, this Bible is definitely worth that. I know that's, it seems like a lot, but with inflation and everything that's going on right now, this is actually a really good price for this Bible. It's going to be something that lasts you a very, very long time, and probably something you can pass down to your kids, or they can pass down to your grandkids after you're gone for sure. And so this is definitely a lifelong Bible, So that's what we're hoping for my dad. This will be the last Bible he has until either the Lord returns or he passes on into glory. And then I'll show you the comparison between the wide margin, just to show you the size comparison. The wide margin is a very big Bible. This mid-size edition, the regular edition, is actually a very comfortable size to hold. I can hold this one-handed, yet it's on the bigger size of the mid-size range. So you can see the wide margin obviously is wider by about 1/2 inch, and it's probably about 3/4 of an inch taller. and then they're about obviously the same thickness. So same thing in both editions, but I'll show you the wide margin just in case you're interested in that one, which I've done a review on this as well. So if you want to see that, just go back to my video list and this will be there, and I'll show you that. I've taken notes in this. There you go. So you can see I used highlighters, pigment micron pens, all the things, and it holds up well. So if you're someone that likes to take notes and you want to get the wide margin edition, I highly recommend this edition. It holds up well. It's just a really big Bible. So you want to set this on a desk. So if you're a preacher and you have a pulpit, I don't think you'd have a problem because you have something to set it on. If you're someone sitting in the pew, this is definitely going to be hard to hold on to. I've done it, but you definitely have to get used to it. So if you're not a teacher at church, this would probably be a Bible that stays at home on your desk and something you study from. So if you're interested in this Bible, again, Bible Baptist Bookstore, go to their website and go to their tab under Bibles. It'll have a whole category for Ruckman Reference Bible. They have tons of editions. So if this is too much for you, they do have calfskin editions that are less than this Bible. And then they also have a more economic hardback and vinyl covers. So if you just want the text block or you just want the Bible notes in a cheap edition, they have tons of options for you to look at. And obviously they have the wide margin as well. So this has been my review of their new released mid-size, which was their standard one, but in a custom bookbinding from Norris Books. And again, if you want a book Bible rebound, Norris would be a great company to check out there and give them your guys' business. So again, I'll show you their Norris bookbinding when they're in Mississippi. They do have a website. You can go check out their work. And I hope this review was a blessing to you guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. I'd be happy to answer them. Hope you guys have a great night. Take care and God bless.